How does one honor the legacy of a great leader? In this morning's biblical portion, Parashat Chayei Sarah offers us two models in the figures of Rebekah and Isaac, who emerge as the second generation of patriarchs and matriarchs following Sarah and Abraham. A close reading of their lives reveals how both Rebekah and Isaac follow in the footsteps of Abraham. Rebekah comes from Abraham's birthplace. Like him, she courageously travels into the unknown to meet her destiny. The Hebrew word she uses to affirm her risky decision, Elech, I will go, evokes God's original call to Abraham, Lech Lecha. Our sages associate Abraham with the characteristic of chesed, acts of kindness. Rebekah demonstrates this very trait when she volunteers to draw water, not only for Abraham's servant when she encounters him at the well, but also his entire fleet of camels. Again, the words the Torah uses to describe her zeal are the same words the Torah uses to describe Abraham's own enthusiasm for greeting and serving guests who come to his tent. In next week's portion, the Torah describes the major events of Isaac's career, emphasizing how he spends so many years retracing his father's steps, even redigging the same wells his father had originally excavated. However, despite traveling to the same places, doing the same things that Abraham had done, Isaac's life feels very different from his father's. He never leaves the land of Canaan. There's no grand journey. There's no risk-taking. We don't hear of him welcoming guests or fighting wars or performing spontaneous acts of chesed. So perhaps there are two ways to perpetuate the legacy of a groundbreaking leader. The first is to preserve their work. That's the Isaac model. But ironically, that work of preservation, as critical as it is, will by definition not have the exciting revolutionary character of the original. The second way to honor the legacy of a groundbreaking leader is to live in the spirit of that leader, the Rebekah model. She never does exactly what Abraham does. She cultivates within herself the spirit that animated Abraham. He was a groundbreaking risk-taker. So was she. Again, ironically, it's only by not replicating exactly what Abraham did that allowed Rebekah to channel the spirit that characterized Abraham's life. This past week, the world observed the first yahrzeit, marked the one-year anniversary of the passing of Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks, the former British chief rabbi. Some of the many memorials focused on his prodigious body of work, the many books, essays, lectures that grappled with the meaning and relevance of Jewish tradition in the modern age, the Isaac model, while others focused on his generosity of spirit, his warmth, his integrity as he explored challenging theological, intellectual, political, and diplomatic territory, how he often risked his own authority and prestige as he vigorously defended his positions. Rebekah model. Those who take up the mantle of Rabbi Sacks' character traits may wind up ironically in very different places than those who study and actually live by his own writings and teachings. But that's okay. It might even be expected. After all, Rebekah and Isaac were a couple. They were two sides of the same coin. Both were part of the perpetuation of the legacy of Abraham, that great original, groundbreaking leader of the Jewish people. Shabbat Shalom.